Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Suffolk County Virtual FAM Tour. My name is Laura Burning, and I work with production and locations here at the New York State Governor's Office of Motion Picture and Television Development. And of course, I have the distinct pleasure of working closely with our regional film and agency partners across the state. We are so pleased to have Suffolk County Film Office Director Diana Cherry-Holmes with us today to talk about all things film in the far reaches of Long Island. Before we begin the tour with Diana, I want to mention just a few things about the Zoom today. I want you to know that at the end of Diana's presentation, we'll be taking questions through the Q&A box located at the bottom center of the Zoom screen. Please do not submit questions to the chat box. In the chat box, there is important links. So if you'd like to reach out to any of us after the event today, all of our contact information and email addresses and so forth, and links to our web pages and tax credit information is all there in the chat box. So before we get to the main event, I want to introduce Neil Riley, our Deputy Director here at the Film Office, who is going to say just a few words. Neil, take it away.
Thank you so much, Laura. As Laura said, I'm Neil Riley. I'm the Deputy Director of the Governor's Office of Motion Picture and Television Development. And on behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul, I'm so excited to welcome you to today's virtual FAM tour of Suffolk County, the easternmost county of New York State. Suffolk County is surrounded by water on three sides. The Atlantic Ocean and Long Island Sound account for hundreds of miles of scenic coastline, but Suffolk County is so much more than just beaches. There are 40 villages in the county, including the quaint enclaves found in the Hamptons and the country's North Shore. There are historic homes and mansions, museums, wineries, rural landscapes, parks, aquariums, country clubs and airports, and so many more one-of-a-kind, film-friendly locations. Filmmakers will also find an abundance of production resources, crew, and infrastructure. Fox's American Horror Story, HBO's The Gilded Age, Disney's Fire Island, Showtime's Billions and The Affair, and dozens of other high-profile and independent productions have taken their projects to Suffolk because of these resources and more. Film production is a major priority for Governor Hochul, and so she made several exciting changes in last year's budget to the film production tax credit. First, she increased the base tax credit from 25% to 30%. So projects that are filming across Long Island and in Suffolk County have 30% on all their eligible expenses for the tax credit. Second, she extended the tax credit through 2034 and increased the funding from $420 million a year to $700 million a year. And thirdly, very excitingly, she's included above-the-line wages and salaries in the tax credit. If you have questions about the tax credit specifically, you can reach out to our office at the contact info that's been included, as Laura said, in the chat box, or you can reach out to any of us directly. We're so grateful for the partnership that we have with Suffolk County, and especially for Diana Cherry-Holmes and her team. And she's the director of the Suffolk County Film Commission. We also have some other members of her team, like James here today. So I'm so excited to turn it over to her to hear everything she has to say about filming in Suffolk County. So Diana, turning it over to you.
Thank you so much, Neil. And Laura, we really appreciate this opportunity. I'd like to also acknowledge our partners, our regional partners throughout the state, are the film commissions that we are really happy to work with. And if we don't have it, we encourage you to reach out to them, in some cases specifically about opportunities. We also work closely with the New York Producers Alliance and the Location Managers Guild International, LNGI. So just to give them a shout out, and of course to all our local partners that make bringing all these exciting locations to you directly. So let's talk about where we are. Okay, let's get this going. And it is not moving. Right. Let's stop share for a moment, guys, and then I'm going to share again. Our apologies. Here we go. So where are we? And why is this not going? I'm gonna share. Goodness. Okay, here we go. So this is the, sorry about that. I am not the most on top with technology, so my apologies. But where this is the state of New York, where is Suffolk County? We are on Long Island, and we are on the eastern portion of Long Island. Might look like an alligator or an upside down fish, your call. But we are surrounded by water, and we are more than just the Hamptons. We have 980 miles of coastline, 42,000 acres of parks, 70 vineyards and tasting rooms, 40 craft breweries, 6 cideries and 5 distilleries, and 30,000 acres of farmland, as well as a vibrant downtowns with architecture spanning from the colonial era to modern day. We were formed in a glacier during the most recent ice age. And our North Shore is covered with hills bordered on a shoreline of towering bluffs and rocky beaches, while our South Shore presents a coastal plain that slopes gently down to the quiet waters of our sheltered bays and barrier islands. If you're looking for lighthouses, we have 25, more than any other county in America. More on that later. But in regards to architecture, our built environment stretches back to the 1600s and includes colonial farmhouses and inns, expanses, country and beachfront mansions of the industrial age tycoons, historic portside towns, and quaint suburban villages. As we said, these are all the towns, 10 towns we have, 119 hamlets, and 34 incorporated villages. And coming into the county, who knows where to go for your permitting process? Well, we know where you can direct those inquiries, and we help you break that down without any fee. It's free of charge, and we're pleased to help you navigate that permitting process. Please be mindful that some municipalities will require increased lead time, particularly in the East End communities, because they're popular summer destinations. So securing a location during the tourist season may be tricky. It really depends on the activity and the location, if it's private or public property that you're looking for. We have just a sliver inside the zone, inside the Union Zone. And we're going to start a conversation with the town of Huntington, which is located in the northwest corner of the county. This town has the greatest section that's inside the Union Zone. The town of Huntington now has a film office that will help you with your production. Most recently, they worked with Amy Schumer and Mike and Beth, American Horror Story Delicate. Here's the contact for the town of Huntington. Joe Schramm is ready to work with you. He's very excited to present locations and break down the benefits to the film industry, what the town of Huntington can provide. Joe is with us today, so wave to everybody from your silent seat, Joe, and please reach out to Joe to learn more about Huntington. And Huntington has cheated for Miami town and the feature film Sisters. This literally snowed. It had a snowstorm the day after this shoot. And fortunately, or unfortunately, we don't get snow like we used to. In West Hills County Park, which is in the zone, it's very spacious and film friendly. Dead Ringers, Dickinson filmed there. And nearby neighborhood There are many beautiful homes that have served as a location for dead ringers, friends from college, leave the world behind, and more. This is American Horror Story, downtown Huntington. Other locations inside the zone include Oviedo Castle. It's a perfect example of a Gold Coast mansion, French-style chateau. From Citizen Kane to the Housewives, Project Runway, and Taylor Swift to royalties. Ohika is film friendly and film savvy. A new location is Rosewood Farms, minutes from the Cold Spring Harbor LIRR station. It has a Georgian style manor house on a 24-acre estate. It's in the zone. Contact Joe Tran, Town of Huntington, for a tour and more information. And I must say, it's stunning and the views are outstanding. Comset State Park staff are also very film friendly and film savvy. This is also inside the zone. The Succession pilot was filmed there. They have a huge list of impressive films and TV shows that have shot there. The Republic Airport and its tenants are just a smidge inside the zone. In recent years, the Manifest pilot, as well as other serials like FBI, Vinyl, Mrs. Maisel, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, have all used locations inside the airport complex. And as you can see in this slide, there are many airports within Suffolk County. We have 15 airports, from small grassy fields to runways capable of landing 747s. This is the manifest at Republic Airport. Here they are at Ventura Air and Farmingdale. That's a tenant of Republic Airport. MacArthur Airport in Iceland. That's about mid-island. They are frequently used for film productions. Stages. We have a couple of stages that are ready for business for you. The most recent one that just opened is Tin Mirror Productions in Kings Park. It has 10,000 square feet. It's a great setup for smaller productions. We encourage you to reach out to them. Drake Media Studios is located in Melville. They're in the zone and was once former home for WNET 13. It's also not unheard of for production to create a studio out of an untraditional space. In this instance, for the artist's wife, they created a studio out of an old department store on Main Street in Riverhead. And they contacted the governor's office for film, and voila, it became a qualified studio. So we encourage you to look for those kind of opportunities. We have many historic sites. This is one of them, Yaphank Garage, and the house right behind it. That is all part of the Yaphank Historical District. That is Middle Island, approximately. In the zone, we have Quandra Hall. It's another Gold Coast mansion on the North Shore of Huntington. It's not as utilized in the film industry, but they welcome inquiries. The Vanderbilt Museum in Centerport is not in the zone, but has been frequently used by the film industry. Detour used the courtyard as a Cuban village. And so Vanderbilt has film, they have film savvy staff and they are film friendly. So we encourage you to reach out to them. Scully Estate is another property that is on the south shore of Long Island, and it's just wonderful. We have many farmlands. I mean, let's face it, Suffolk County was done farms and potato fields. Now we still have some farms, but we also have historic farms, and I want to introduce you to some today. The first is the Smithtown Historical Society in Smithtown. They have a wonderful campus of historic barns and houses. Deep Wells Mansion in St. James is this beautiful manor house. They are film friendly. They're a very active friends group. We encourage you to take a look at that. Also is the Suffolk County Farm in Yaphank. If you're looking for a space to locate a scene with cows and sheep and goats and so on, and there's more animals than I can even mention right now. We encourage you to reach out to them. Also, is the Hallettville Museum Farm in Riverhead. They are on the north shore of the North Fork of Suffolk County. This is their massive farm. It's really large, and they just won a major award to upgrade this space to include air conditioning and restrooms. So, full assets that you would want on a film set for sure. Also nearby on Shelter Island is the Sylvester Manor Educational Farm. Shelter Island can be accessed by a ferry from either Sag Harbor or Greenport, and it is possible to film there. The manor, the Sylvester Manor, was built in 1732. It's still active, it's still functional, and it could be available for a film. They have walking paths, an interior pond, fields, CSA, and so on. On to Montauk, Deep Hollow Ranch, very well known for its pivotal scenes as a location in The Affair. Less well known as being a location for reality TV and fashion editorials. They are very film savvy and they would welcome your interest. Our parks and beaches, we have a lot. Obviously, we mentioned we're surrounded by coastline, and our county park staff are little known rock stars, but they really make film projects a priority and want to make it happen. So let's talk about just a few of them today. On the North Shore, we have the Sunken Meadows State Park. Here is a cast and crew photo from Leave the World Behind, with the author of the book in the black t-shirt. This is located on the beach. They had a scene locally. They located base camp in the parking lot there. And our police officers really enjoyed limiting the path's view of the actors. Adjacent to the Sunken Meadow State Park is the Nisqually State Park that features cliff heights as well as the remains of the Kings Park Site Center. The buildings aren't currently open to filming primarily because of disrepair, but the exteriors are accessible, and we always encourage you to call New York State Parks to see if you can film more closely to the buildings if that is your desire, because frankly, it's kind of cool. So take a look at that. Blydenburg County Park, it contains a large body of water, Stump Pond. It's right across the street from where I'm sitting right now. It includes 9 miles of trails and that are also accessible to horses. They also have, I think, boats that you can rent to go out on the pond. Now, you don't want to swim in the pond because there are snapping turtles, so be wary of that. One of the perks of being the Film Commission being aligned and the Division of County Government is that county has many properties of open space. This is one of them, the Forum Airfield. It was a dirt airfield that was designed by a farmer that lived across the street. It was a hobbyist airfield. Well, the airstrips don't really exist anymore other than walking paths, and behind that tree line was where that airstrip used to be. But the point is, this is a massive space lined by a berm of wild trees, that if you were to locate here for a short location stay or a longer stay, you would not, the local community would not know you're here. It's that private, right in the middle of suburbia. It's that private. We have many other open space properties also available. Just please ask us if you're seeking a certain kind of geography. And we can check our open space portfolio to see if we have something that would be available to you. Also in the wilderness, we have the Long Island pine barrens, which, you know, just very cool with all the large pine trees. And going back to a more manicured park property, we have the Bayard Cutting Arboretum. That is a state property. And the Golden Age film there as well. I'd like to talk a little about cheating locations. I want to point out a couple of cheating locations that we have. Robert Moses Causeway was the location and a stand-in for a bridge in Virginia for a Blacklist season finale. And the stunt actor did jump off the bridge into the water. It was really quite a production and a wonderful collaboration between the Marine Police, Suffolk County Police, State Police, and so on. We all made it happen together. Another location that cheated for California was the Indian Hills Country Club in Port Salonga, located on the North Shore that overlooks the Sound, Long Island Sound. That scene didn't make it into the film, but that's okay. It was a pretty long film with the solid version. Northport Village also was a stand-in for Indiana Town many years ago. Let's talk about the beaches. This is the beach at Concept State Park, which we discussed earlier for the Greatest Showman. That is Long Island Sound that she's looking out on. Near Fort Jefferson is McAllister County Park. This park is often utilized because of these massive dunes that they have. I mean, it's really a phenomenal park. Now it's a little tricky to get to these large dunes, but it can be done. This is utilized frequently by the fashion industry. But we have cited some independent films, shorts on the beach, and it worked out well. Also on the beach, Montauk Point State Park, that was No Hard Feelings, and of course, Summer House reality TV. They have often utilized Smith Point County Park on the South Shore of Long Island. And so we were really pleased to have them. Fire Island, the Pines on Fire Island has been featured as a location for American Horror Story NYC, as well as Fire Island feature film with Bowen Yang, the gay rom-com. The Pines is film friendly and they're happy to work with you, as would be some other locations on Fire Island. They would prefer post-season, but frankly, American Horror Story and Fire Island did shoot during the season. Lighthouses, as I mentioned before, Long Island has an impressive 25 lighthouses. Only 5 of these are open to the public. However, those that aren't open to the public could be available for the film industry. So we ask you to please inquire. The lighthouses can be land-based or offshore structures, some dating as far back as the 18th century. The Montauk Lighthouse right here is one of the most photographed in the world and sits on the eastern tip of Long Island. A couple of weeks ago, it reopened with fanfare and elected officials. On Fire Island, we have the Fire Island Lighthouse, which was featured location for Men in Black 2. Moving along, we want to show you some of our vibrant downtowns. This is West Hampton Beach, Cold Spring Harbor, New York, that's in the zone. Port Jefferson, which I told you is right next to McAllister County Park. East Hampton, Greenport, New York, which is one of the entry points to get to Shelter Island. Southampton, Babylon Village. This beautiful walkway has just been restored. Hasn't been featured in any film product that I'm aware of. Now, from beautiful downtowns to correctional facilities. We are supported by the Sheriff's Department and who oversees the correctional facilities. They are available for filming. They worked with Orange is the New Black in their first season. I think they might have come back for quick shots and later seasons. But they've also served as a location for reality TV, like Lockup, Long Island, Extended Stay. So we encourage you, if that's what you're seeking, correctional facility, we have that. We also have a brilliant website that includes a dynamic locations page. What you're not going to find on the location page are resident homes. But if you're looking for something in a certain area or a certain type of home, please inquire. We're getting a lot more notice recently, a lot more inquiries from residents to list their home. I think it ties into the Airbnb culture now, but we'll take it. We're ready for additional homes to include in our index. The Suffolk County Film Commission is supported by appointed members across the county that are experts in the industry and in Suffolk County. So if there's a certain location that you are seeking that I specifically or our team doesn't know if we have, we will typically shoot on questions to them, to the Visitors Bureau, to see if they have any idea of what you're looking for. So our tentacles go out, and we're also part of the planning department. So that is a huge asset. If you are setting your base camp somewhere or want to set it somewhere and need to know where large parking lots are available for churches, for your meal times, we can help map that out for you. We do need a little advance notice to do that, but we're happy to do that for you free of charge. We haven't covered nearly half of what is available. So please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We are more than the Hamptons. Our website is SuffolkCountyFilmCommission.com. I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We hope to speak with you in the future. And thank you again, Laura and Neil and your team.
Well, thank you so much.
Questions?
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Diana. Great presentation. Indeed, Suffolk County is more than the Hamptons. But speaking of the Hamptons, we do have a question. Can I film in the Hamptons during the summer months?
Short answer, yes, you could. It really depends on where you want to film in the Hamptons. Any film location, whether it's on private property or not, you are required to get a film permit from the town of East Hampton or the town of Southampton. That said, those are on private property with a smaller footprint, or if you have an ability to communicate your footprint really well to the town, are more likely to go forward. But if you're asking to cite a project, even for one day in a public park, is not likely to go forward. So we encourage you to look for off-season. Listen, after Labor Day is just as beautiful as in the summer months. And it's just like the temperatures are hot, the beaches are beautiful, and you're more likely to get a film permit at that time.
Got it. Great. Thank you so much. I just want to remind attendees, you can drop your questions in the Q&A box at the middle of your Zoom screen. Diana, I do have another question. Can I film on county-owned beaches during the summer? Is that generally
It depends.
acceptable?
Yeah, it depends. More, we do try to make that happen for the film industry. A good point is the Smith Point County Beach for Summer House. We made that happen for them. They did not give beach exclusivity because it's a public property. However, the public was very respectful and they continue to come back 5 or 6 times that summer. If you're asking to film on a beach during Labor Day weekend, which happened recently, the answer is no. That's one of the busiest tourist weekends of the summer. But we try to make it happen for you. Yeah, they're great. Parks Department is really on top of it. But they're balancing the film industry needs with public safety and public use.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, another question about drones. Is drone filming generally allowed in the county? Are the towns friendly as far as drone filming goes? And what about on county properties?
Okay. Let's start with county properties. Yes, it is possible. Depends on the property. You would have to, if it's park property, you have to file an additional, well, you don't have to file an additional permit. We include it within the permit now. I think an additional fee of $25. And you need to have an FAA certified pilot. And that's across the board. That's standard now for professional drone photography, is to have an FAA certified drone pilot managing that device. So I have not heard across the county if they are not permitting drone filming. I believe they are. And it's fairly common these days. And as long as you're not capturing the images of residents and patrons very clearly, focusing on them, then go ahead and hire your drone operator. And
Okay,
if I
great.
didn't answer that well, shoot me an email and we can discuss it further.
Okay, great. Another question. What does the film permit process look like in Suffolk County as far as county properties go? And are there permit fees or application fees?
There are no application fees. The permit fees have not gone up in many years, and we don't anticipate them rising. They range from $125 to $1,500. There could be additional fees on top of that. It compensate for staff time if that is necessary. The permits, we tried to turn them around quickly for you. They require many, signatures, so that can be a lag on that. The most common problems with our process to obtain a film permit is obtaining the correct insurance documents, because we request some insurance that's just a little different from everyone else and always throws everybody a curveball. So, just be mindful of that and ask your broker to read the document. And you should be fine. But it can take 5 business days. But certainly the average is probably way less than that.
Great. 5 business days. That's a really quick turnaround.
Yeah.
That's great. As you know, series and film sort of run on a little bit different schedules, and series go a little bit faster. So, yep.
Well,
Okay, great.
And we
Yeah,
do
go ahead.
and professional location staff usually have the correct insurance, no problem. And we're able to turn it around rather quickly. And we have a new team in legal, and they are awesome. They are turning it around in a day. So that just benefits everybody.
Great. And one more. Oh, actually, you answered that question. Well, that about wraps it up. I think we've got all of our questions answered. I want to encourage any attendees that have any further questions to reach directly out to Diana. Of course, if you have any questions for us at the film office, please reach out to us directly at nyfilm@esd.ny.gov. And what else? Diana, thank you so much to you and your team. We really appreciate your time today, and thank you to all the attendees for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.